English Each Day presents The Ties That Bind. The morning light filtered through the delicate shoji screens of the Takahashi home, casting soft patterns across the tatami mats. It was a small, traditional house tucked into a quiet neighborhood of Kyoto, where the sounds of the city were distant and muted. Despite the serenity outside, the Takahashi household was already bustling with life. Haruto, the father, was seated at the low dining table, carefully folding his newspaper. His stern yet kind demeanor reflected years of hard work as a craftsman, designing intricate wooden lanterns that graced temples and gardens throughout the city. Beside him, Ayaka, his wife, served miso soup with a practiced hand. She was the glue of the family, balancing tradition and modernity with grace, a trait she passed on to their 3 children. The eldest, 19-year-old Naomi, was a university student studying art history. She loved the ancient traditions of Japan, but struggled with the weight of expectations placed on her as the firstborn daughter. Kenji, 16, was in high school and obsessed with soccer, often dreaming of a future far beyond the boundaries of their quiet neighborhood. Then there was little Aiko, just 8, whose boundless curiosity and infectious laughter kept the family grounded and joyful. That morning, as the family ate breakfast, Haruto spoke about an upcoming festival. "The lanterns this year must be perfect," he said, his voice steady but firm. "The temple is counting on us." Naomi nodded, though her mind was elsewhere. She had recently been offered an internship at a contemporary art gallery in Tokyo, a world away from the traditions she had grown up with. She hadn't told her parents yet, unsure of how they would react. Kenji, meanwhile, was scrolling through his phone, half listening. His soccer team had made it to the regional finals, and all he could think about was impressing the scouts who might attend the game. Ayaka noticed the tension in her children, but said nothing, choosing instead to focus on keeping the peace. "Aiko," she said gently, "don't forget to thank your father for the meal." "Thank you, Papa." Aiko chirped, her smile lighting up the room. Haruto's stern expression softened as he patted her head. As the day unfolded, the family's individual struggles began to surface. Naomi visited her professor to discuss the internship, her heart heavy with doubt. "You have a rare talent, Naomi," her professor said. "This opportunity could open doors for you." "But my family," Naomi began, trailing off. "Tradition is important," her professor replied, "but so is finding your own path." Kenji, on the other hand, found himself clashing with Haruto that evening. "Soccer is just a hobby," Haruto said disapprovingly. "You need to focus on your studies if you want a stable future." "It's more than a hobby to me," Kenji retorted, his frustration bubbling over. "Why can't you see that?" The argument left a heavy silence in its wake, and even Aiko seemed subdued. Ayaka, sensing the growing divide, decided it was time to intervene. Later that night, Ayaka found Naomi sitting by the garden, sketching the koi pond. "You've been quiet lately," Ayaka said, sitting beside her. Naomi hesitated before finally sharing her dilemma. "Mama, I want to take the internship, but I'm afraid of disappointing Papa." Ayaka sighed, looking at the serene water. "Your father values tradition, but he also loves you. He'll understand in time. You just need to show him why this is important to you." The next morning, Ayaka spoke to Kenji while he packed his soccer bag. "Kenji, your father wants the best for you, even if he doesn't always say it the right way. But you need to meet him halfway. Show him how much this means to you." Kenji nodded, though he wasn't sure how to begin. As the Lantern Festival approached, the Takahashi family threw themselves into preparation. Haruto worked tirelessly in his workshop, while Ayaka coordinated the family's contributions to the festival. Even Naomi and Kenji helped, though their minds were still preoccupied with their own struggles. The night of the festival arrived, and the streets of Kyoto came alive with music, laughter, and the warm glow of hundreds of lanterns. The Takahashis gathered together, their differences momentarily set aside as they admired Haruto's handwork. But the peace was short-lived. During the festival, a scout approached Kenji, expressing interest in his soccer skills. Haruto overheard the conversation and frowned. "You're letting this distract you again," he said, his tone sharp. Kenji's frustration boiled over. "Why can't you just support me for once?" he shouted, storming off into the crowd. Ayaka found Kenji sitting by the riverbank, his head in his hands. "Kenji," she said softly, sitting beside him. "I just want him to see that I can do this," Kenji said, his voice breaking. "And he will," Ayaka replied. "But you need to show him, not just tell him. Be patient, like the lanterns. They don't shine immediately. They need time to light up the night." Meanwhile, Naomi approached Haruto, mustering her courage. "Papa, I need to tell you something," she began. She explained the internship, her voice trembling but steady. Haruto listened, his expression unreadable. Finally, he said, "I want you to be happy, Naomi. If this is your path, then follow it. Just don't forget where you come from." By the end of the night, the family reunited to release their lanterns into the river, each one carrying a wish. Aiko wished for more happy family dinners. Kenji wished for his father's support. Naomi wished for courage, and Ayaka wished for harmony. Haruto, watching his family, realized how much he valued their happiness above all else. "I'm proud of all of you," he said quietly, his voice carrying over the gentle lapping of the water. In the weeks that followed, Naomi prepared to leave for Tokyo, while Kenji threw himself into soccer practice with renewed determination. Haruto even attended one of Kenji's games, cheering louder than anyone in the crowd. Life wasn't perfect, but the Takahashis learned to balance tradition with change, leaning on one another through every challenge. Family, like language, is a journey, filled with challenges, growth, and moments of connection. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt tales. Practice your English while immersing yourself in stories that inspire and connect us all. See you next time.